Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, News Jester. My name is Junior. So today we're going to be doing a really close turnaround of the Batmobile. Initially, this was a part of my initial review, but I ended up tossing it because it was just too boring. I thought, like, to go through these shots and everything. But I've had a few days to look at it. I have a few days to look at other people's comments and all that stuff. And some people have seen it, my videos as well. So they've put out some comments as well. So let's go ahead really quickly. So this is not going to be a gripe or what's wrong with a Batmobile. It's also not going to be what's good with a Batmobile or the JazzInc Batmobile. Or maybe it will be, but it's not meant to bash the company nor any other collectors out there. Um, this is just what I'm seeing on mine. Now, as you can see, this is floating right now. So I had one guy talk about how wobbly all these wheels and everything are, but they are solid in mine. Now, when you're saying if you think that's wobbly, it's floating. So I don't understand why you would think that once this is on the ground, this thing is solid. So that doesn't bother me. I'm not sure if I referred to this on my video. What really does kind of bothers me a little bit is the adhesive that they gave us with the 3M because it's got a padding in between. It only bothers me because the padding, the adhesive 3M that they used on the back, the afterburner, I don't know what it is. It's just flat. It's just basically like a thin piece, almost like a paper thin. So when you remove it, it actually sits very flush to the rim. So this one I can see there's a gap in there. Yeah, that's the only thing. In terms of strength, as you can see also because it's strong, but because of that foam, it moves like this. That's the other thing that bothers me. And it's very visual, so it's kind of hard to forget and everything. So let's do a quick turnaround and see what's going on with this Batmobile. Trying to look at the visual and seeing if I'm capturing everything that needs to be captured. So my camera will move a little bit. I think people are complaining about the wobbliness of what's going on here. We'll talk about that some more, but you can see for yourself the surfaces. This thing is also a magnet for any kind of dust or styrofoam floating around. And when I talk about magnet, it's just basically got some sort of friction, um, and almost like a static friction attraction. See how? See, look at that. It's just like freaking attracting everything. So, let's see. Let's put that back forward. Well, it's kind of hard to control my turntable. This gap is because this is just not plugged in completely. It's hard to put my finger on here, on my hand. It's so tight. So honestly, I really don't see a lot of defects that I'm looking at. So right now, the most blatant defect that I just saw, and this was only because I had this right here at this angle, I didn't even notice it before, is probably this one. Can you guys see that? There's an indentation in there. That's one. That's more jarring to me than anything else, to be honest, but it's so small. And then there's another one that a somebody told me, and I'm not sure if this is what he meant to was talking about. So this one, I think this will show more on a white background. Let's see. I think this is what he's referring to. So notice that the fender over here is almost straight, almost going inward. That's the passenger side. Oh, this is gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard to see. I'm gonna have to turn it manually. I think that's the best way. I'm gonna try to see if it's captured on camera, what he's trying to refer to. So in this side, the driver's side, it goes out a little bit. When I mean a little bit, it's by a little bit. I only noticed it because he pointed it out. And it's almost like an eighth of an inch or maybe even a tenth of an inch. I'll only notice it if I keep looking at it and I keep referring to it. So I don't think it's a flaw in the manufacturing or putting together. I don't think it's like for what he meant. He suggested that maybe it got separated from whatever it's connecting in the bottom. I don't feel that though. For mine, it feels all connected. So this one might be more a design flaw during the initial design concept, where maybe initially they wanted it like flared out, and they fixed it on the passenger side, but forgot to fix it on the driver's side. That's the only thing I can think of. This is one solid piece as far as I can tell. So there's no connection. Oh, there's another one I found right here. I think where is it? This one. So this what I'm feeling is, I think what happened was they spray painted it. They painted it and everything. And during the painting process, it wasn't a clean room. So certain flecks might have drifted on. And this is just me being very, very picky. Like if I were to go and look at every inch of the surface to find the most minute flaws that I can think of. And this is also more evident as I'm going through it to see if it's like this one right here. Maybe even feels like a spider web just got on there while the paint was still wet. But I'm actually, honestly, it's so small. This one is something I noticed on the inner rear well. So it looks like when they painted it, they didn't paint it completely in here. That's more noticeable to me than any of those small paint defects. And then the warbling that they're talking about, I think, see right here, that doesn't bother me because when I have this on display, I'm not looking at each and every part like this with a camera with lights on to saying to like, oh, this part is like not perfect. I'm not doing that. Oh, this part is not perfect. I'm not doing that either. I can see it now with the lights on because obviously you can see the light warping here, so that's gotta be a bend, right? Unlike this one, as you can see, the light is just straight. Like if you guys are that type of a collector, then you're gonna have a problem with this one. And I honestly, I don't know how you could not have a problem with any other collection at this point. As you can see, this is just attracting a lot of dust in my room. This is just an absolute dust magnet. It really is. I think the friction is just drawing any kind of dust motes floating around in your room. So I'm just holding the camera right now kind of steady and just turning it manually. These are all dust flecks. Like the only thing I could possibly say is if somehow you have a clean room and you wipe this down completely, and then encase it completely in some sort of plexiglass um, display unit that can vacuum out whatever air is inside. That's the only way. So I mean, knowing that, I'm like, I'm not gonna worry too much about the dust that's going on. It just really is. This thing is so smooth. The paint job on this one is so clean that it's easy to look for anything that you can think. It's easy to look for any blemishes. Let me put it this way. What's this one? Let's see. Nope, dust mote. Look. I can't even tell if it's a dust mote or just like really an actual defect, because, like I said, it's just attracting all kinds of dirt. Let's see if we can close in on this one. Look, this one is the one I was referring to, where they put in a very thin 3M adhesive. I think there's no gaps whatsoever that I can think of. And honestly, if 'cause I really don't plan on selling this. This is my copy. I could even think of just like freaking gluing these two on, so I won't have to deal with it. The same thing with the bat rim icons. And then I also, now let me just push this on completely. This one is also a defect on it. Something has to do with the large casting. See how it's not completely straight? That's also mirrored on this side. See how that one? But again, this is just me like really looking at every inch or millimeter of an inch on this thing. I suppose this video can be used by people who just really have this gripe, or I don't know, some sort of vendetta against the JazzInc company, and just like, see how, look, see this video shows it's not really. Here's another one. This, I remember this one. That's a paint defect. I think that's even more of a bigger flaw to me than compared to the ones that I showed you in the front. Because that one, it could be just dirt. I don't think so. I don't want to rub it in. Oh, it is just dirt. Never mind, it disappeared. So see, even that one, I just didn't want to rub it because the paint job is so beautiful in this thing. Honestly, there's one here. I know for sure is just dirt. Like this one, people will be have complained about this. See how it's kind of like, you can tell by the light, but I'm not looking at my collection here. This one, I'm not looking at a collection with this kind. Honestly, I'm not. I mean, if I'm sorry if you guys are like that. Oh, I lost one of the chains here. I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna remove, just basically take it out or glue it. There was a small chain that I put in here. I'm hoping I can find it. I do have a second last one. I knew that was gonna happen too. It's just so much easier just like to glue it. It's like a small part. You can see the small magnet here. That's where it's attached to, and there's another magnet here. Man, this thing is just, this is almost like who was that model? Cynthia Crawford? I can't remember. She was a very popular model at one point, and she had this beautiful face, but then she has a birthmark, a mole on one of her on one of the side of her face. But it adds to her beauty because she's no longer a perfect beauty. It's just an aspect of her personality and her face that just like centers in. Now you can be the person that says, "Well, that's a flaw," or you can be a, the person that says, that's what makes her unique out of everybody else. That one mole on her face. Cindy Crawford. That's what it is. Cynthia Crawford. So for me, I really don't mind this. I'm sorry, guys. If you guys were having a problem with this one, I'm really sorry that you guys feel that way. I don't feel that way at all. Um, and then again, I'm gonna go back to this one. Where is it? There it is. It's look. I mean, like I really had to look for that too. This one, I don't like it, but I have a solution for it. I think I am just gonna pull this out and replace it with a glue. Initially, what I wanted to do was just drill some more into this one and replace it with a stronger magnet. But that I've tested it, and however strong the magnet is, um, it's the magnet inside the rims that's the weakest one. I think there's too much plastic in between whatever magnet you put in here and whatever magnet they have in here to even make any kind of a difference. If the if the plastic in between were a little bit thinner, it would have been stronger, and I could have done what I had been planning, which was to replace the magnet in this or add a magnet in this one, but that's not gonna help at all. So I'm just gonna glue it and do it permanently. If this one really bothers me a lot, I don't know. I really don't know if I'm gonna do, if that's even worth the effort for me to do anything. Okay, so that's the side view. Already 18 minutes in, so we'll look at the top view a little bit more. Look at this one. Look at all the dust that's accumulating on this side right here. I had one comment about one of my videos where I did mention that this is flawless. It is for me. I mean, you see me point out those small defects, but I still think of this as flawless. Um, I know it doesn't make sense. Flawless basically implicitly already states that it is without flaw. But I'm just, I don't know. I think of this as flawless. Even with this um, imperfections, I would say. And I can already tell in the comments people will argue me and laugh at me for saying that it is flawless when I'm already pointing out the things that are uh, that I feel as mistakes on it. But honestly, the way I feel about this thing, looking at it and touching it and looking at the curves and everything, it is just amazing to have. Again, this is 1,500 plus shipping of 215, ended up being 1,796. That's without taxes because this is a different company or a different country. Luckily, I haven't been hit by FedEx for any kind of import tax or whatever crap tax that they make up um, to charge me extra. I hope I won't get hit or anything, but so 1796 or 1800. Let's make it 1800. Alexa, what's 7% of 1800?
7% of 1,800 is 126.
So if if this was something I purchased on the United States, I would have to subtract that out of the 1800. So it would have been what, 16, let's say 1650. 1650 for this. And remember, Hot Toys, I let's put it at 600 because that's the one I purchased, the original one, almost 50, what, 10, 15 years ago. The question is like, is it worth it to upgrade 600 for a Hot Toys to a 1650, adding almost $1,000 on the purchase? The paint job alone, I'm telling you guys, the paint job alone is really, it's what's the most striking about this vehicle. So if you guys are, look, if you guys didn't want to purchase the Batmobile because these wobbling panels really bothered you, you see it right there, or anything else, get the Hot Toys. If you don't have this and you only have the Hot Toys version, the fact that this is bigger, longer, more accurate in certain aspects won't bother you. You won't be able to see it. You won't be able, I mean, unless you're the kind of person that has created a holy Bible in what the 1989 Batmobile is, in terms of like, did Hot Toys copy the curve of this one? Did Hot Toys copy the curve off of the fin? Did Hot Toys accurately depicted these things on the side? If that doesn't bother you, then get the Hot Toys version. It's only $700, $750, $800 plus tax. Get to an automobile paint shop and ask them, say, hey, this is just a small fake car. It doesn't take a lot of paint. How much would you charge me to just paint this for me? You know what I mean? Do that. I bet you it's at the most they'll probably charge you $500. You know, and you'll be done. And then you can paint this up if you want. You know, you can be happy with the Hot Toys. You just need to customize it a little bit. But I'm telling you right now, the biggest thing about this that makes this beautiful is the paint job. And I'm telling you that if you're happy with the Hot Toys, get it painted. Don't be cheap and get it painted, because you want a 1989 1/6 scaled vehicle, you know, and you're happy with the Hot Toys. You don't want to pay for this one. I don't even know if you can get this one still from JazzInc. Get your Hot Toys painted, and it will markedly improve that product. One of the reasons why I felt like Hot Toys is slowly degrading from quality is I have the original 1989 Hot Toys Batmobile, and it didn't come with paint. Now, at the time when it was being when the time that it was introduced to us, it was the best thing ever, because nobody has ever done a 1989 Batmobile at 1/6 scale. It's their only second 1/6 scale vehicle. There was nothing else to compare it to. They were setting the standards. But even then, the fact of the matter is, it was bare plastic, and the collectors at that time, had to swallow our gripe because they were the only ones producing it. That's no longer the case. You know what I mean? There's now Blitzway, JazzInc, Hot Toys, maybe In Art will do it too. Or they're talking about it, but nothing's really happened about that. So competition is what's driving the technology and what we're getting as collectors. That's why Hot Toys, for the longest time, they were really, really good for what they were doing. The original Hot Toys Iron Man Mark III, even though it was some design flaws on it, all the accessories that came with it were amazing. It was like packed to the gills. And then they started cutting off on that, and then they started charging more and all that stuff. So, and I just could not believe they released the 1989 Batmobile at a higher price cost without the cocoon shell, which really doesn't really matter if you didn't have that. But why would you put it at a higher price cost and then didn't even bother painting it? That was the most biggest design flaw on that product. Now, if you guys are happy with it, good for you. If you don't want it painted, good for you. You know, be happy with what you have. But that's basically what I'm with mine as well. Is how I feel about this one too. I'm happy with what I have, even with the flaws on the paint, the flaws on the molding and casting. It's just, for me, it's as perfect as can possibly be for a 1/6 scale vehicle. Flawless, I would use the word flawless on it, and people getting up on the meaning of the term would bash on me. But this is just like, so let me put it this way: this is close to perfect as I could possibly have for this scale, and the fact that it cost me 1,600, honestly, it's cheap, so worth it. That's why I do the price value comparison. If this had not been worth the 1,500, if at least I got what I wanted, the value that I would have assigned to this would have been 10, with a base price of 10. I'm not, this is like 15 and above. Honestly, I got so much more than what I expected, was all fulfilled. I didn't receive any kind of QC issues. I didn't have any problems that I had to return. The paint is just beautiful. It's beyond my expectations. The accessories that was given to us is beyond. Maybe the chain, the fact that it's magnetic, I think that's more of an issue of why they wanted to do it. I can see why, but that's not a big issue for me. I can make it permanent if I want to, without very little muss or fuss. It's just close to perfection as I can possibly get. Now, tell me, if this had been $3,000, then I would have said the value would have been 10 and then the price at 10. Honestly, $3,000 for this is a good price to ask for this. Can you guys remember the time when the Hot Toys 1989 was originally for like $550 or $600, and it went up as high as $2,000 because it was out of circulation? $2,000 for that, and people are buying it. $1,200 and people are buying it. What caused the market for that to crash? Because they released it. Now the Hot Toys 1989 Batmobile is now currently selling for $750. It's good enough for that price. Honestly, I don't think it should be $750. I think they should put it back to what it was originally, $550, $600. And that's a good enough price for it, because it doesn't have the paint job. It's inaccurate. It's a good enough representation for a 1/6 scale vehicle. And if you want to, save a little bit of money, put it out in display, out in your collection, and have Batman standing on it, you won't be able to tell the 4-inch difference that it needs to be, the width that it needs to be, the height that it needs to be accurate. You won't even, the only thing you'll notice immediately with the Hot Toys version is the paint. There is no paint. It's just plastic. It's cheap plastic for $500. Well, $750. It's not. Why would you do that? That's one of the biggest complaints I have with my Star Wars right here. That's one of the biggest complaints that we had with the Ghost from HasLab. It's just cheap plastic with a little bit minimal paint job, and that was $500. So you're creating a premium quality product, and you're doing a bare plastic surface. That is unacceptable. And you guys and some people out there are comparing that to the wobbliness going on over here, the small defects of whatever paint defect that you might be seeing. I sorry. I just that doesn't make sense to me. But it might make sense to you. It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, this is basically it. So the last part of this video, I'm just gonna have it turn around again, unstopped for a few minutes or so, and I'll put it on different views so you can look at it, and you can look at it and see, and use it to see if whatever flaws that you might see. What can I say? So there you go. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys found it enjoyable, watchable. About these close-up, I initially wanted to do this. I just felt like it was kind of boring. I wanted you to see the whole piece by itself. I have another video where the whole Batmobile is being encompassed as it's turning around. And when you look at that video, you won't even see any of these uh, defect that might be showing up this up close. But it's up to you at this point. Like I said, you might not be able to get this anyway, so there's really no reason to be angry about it. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys again soon, and goodbye.